Welcome, everybody, to Nice Minds. I am your host, Brandon McCollum, also known as B McC. So, I guess I should start at the beginning. I started as a rapper in about probably 2001, 2002, and I started making beats shortly after that. When I started making music, I was in high school, and I was not very good. And I even had my very first live performance in front of like 300 or 400 of my peers, which just went horribly. A lot of people bullied me and made fun of me. And then I didn't graduate on time. And I ended up going back to my high school as a super senior, the very tail end of the 2004 school year. So I graduated with my two best friends, Nemo and Mingy. That's when I really started to find my way with music. And we started going to actual studios because Nemo and Mingy ended up going to a school called Institute of Production and Recording right out of high school. And so I started recording with Mingy a lot and doing a lot of shows. And then I completed my album, Mr. Nice Guy, in 2009 after Mingy had graduated. And I did my thing in the local Minnesota music scene for a while. I did a bunch of shows and started kind of making a name for myself locally. And that's when my music career kind of took off a little bit, but then it stalled. I needed to kind of grow up a bit. So I met a girl who I'm still dating about 10 years ago. Before that, I was just kind of skating by. I was working dead-end jobs, doing shows here and there, making beats, and not really doing too much with my life. When I met this girl, I had quit smoking cigarettes. I finally got a driver's license because for years my friends were driving my ass around. And I got a full-time job. And I kind of put music a little bit to the side for probably a good 2 years. I decided in late 2013 that I would enroll in school at Institute of Production and Recording. And so I decided to make about 50 beats and get business cards ready and get a website ready between October and January. And I started right at the beginning of 2014. So I started at IPR with the goal to start a record label because I always looked up to people like Dr. Dre, who had Aftermath, Diddy had Bad Boy, Kanye had Good Music. You know, all these iconic rapper producers had these record labels. And I wanted to kind of model mine after them. So I started Nice Guy Entertainment pretty much right when I got to IPR. I met all of these people who shared similar ideas and interests, and it came together pretty quickly. And me and my best friend started it together and ran it for about a year and a half together. And we booked shows, we did music videos, we just built a brand together. He designed my logo, all of these different things. And about a year and a half in, he decided that it wasn't really for him, and he decided not to continue with Nice Guy Entertainment. And a lot of my artists pieced out as well. So this was around 2016. So in 2018, my life changed forever. I was already thinking I needed a change, and I wanted to slow down from doing shows and just was already feeling like the direction I was taking wasn't really what I wanted. My mom got diagnosed with lymphoma in June of 2018. And from that moment on, my life has never been the same. My mom is the closest person to me, and I was by her side for a year, taking care of her with my dad and, helping them with whatever they needed. And so I had to put everything to the side. So I decided to go back to IPR in early 2019 when my mom was still sick and I was still helping my parents out. I only needed some credits to get another degree, and my mom was like, yeah, you should go, you should do it. So I went back to school in January of 2019, and on April 1st, my mom had a life-saving treatment. The treatment was crazy. They took her cells, sent them out to California, genetically modified them, and then on April 1st, 2019, they put them back in her body. And she was in the hospital for 50-plus days fighting cancer. And I'll never forget it. I was actually in school at IPR in a recording class, and my mom called me. This was after she got out of the hospital, but only like a couple weeks after she got out of the hospital. So I went outside and answered the phone, and my mom said that she was cancer-free. and I will never forget that. But that year in general was so problematic for me. Not only was my mom in the hospital for 50 something days, I was going back to school. I also got in a car accident. In late May, my backpack got stolen with my laptop, my hard drive, schoolwork, a field recorder, almost $5,000 worth of gear. Just gone. Shit out of luck when it came to a bunch of work. This was a major setback, one that I'm still catching up with. It doesn't end there. Less than a month later, my car just basically goes up in smoke. And it would have cost like $3,000 to fix, so I just junked it. And then in August of that year, I got super sick with something. I still don't really know what it was, but it was some sort of stomach bug that just didn't go away. And I was sick for 4 months, from August to December of 2019. And then, of course, we all know in March of 2020, the coronavirus happened. Needless to say, the last couple years have been a whirlwind. Tons of setbacks, tons of stuff that I'm still catching up on. So when 2020 hit, I wanted to kind of shift gears a little bit. Nice Guy Entertainment is my brand. Started as my personal brand before I ever went to IPR, before it ever was a record label. And under my personal brand, I want to do things like this. I decided to start this show as a platform for creatives to not only share what they do, but to also maybe share their struggles, maybe share their mental hurdles and things they've had to get over. Because as a creative person myself, I've always had to battle anxieties and depression and everything that comes along with that. And 2020 really, really hit people hard. It forced people to take deep looks within themselves and to completely change what they're doing. A lot of people are still in that transition. And so I was thinking maybe by having these conversations with these amazing people that I've met along the way, maybe we can break barriers. Maybe I can show my viewers and listeners new people that they've never heard of and great people that they've never heard of. I also want to talk to people who have found success and kind of see what makes them tick. Things that have helped them along the way, and maybe they can share some wisdom or shed some light on things that people who are struggling might find value in. Maybe they'll be inspired by it. And what I also realized in this journey is everybody has a voice. Everybody has a story. And I think that everybody's story deserves to be listened to. This platform is all about creating dialogue and listening to each other. And my thoughts are my own, and my guests' thoughts are their own. I'm not here to argue with people. I'm here to let people share their stories and their sides of things. I may not always agree with what they say. Obviously, if somebody says something ignorant, I'm going to just cut that off right there because I'm not going to stand for that shit. But I think that people in general need to get their stories out, need to get their thoughts out, need to discuss it. And you can interpret it however you want to and choose to use things in your own life or your own careers, or choose not to. I've already recorded a bunch of episodes. They're all through Zoom, and these episodes at the beginning are recorded between early December and late January. So some of them aren't super current, and some of them will be varying in quality because obviously you can't get the best quality with people's different Wi-Fi connections and their different microphone qualities and stuff like that. So bear with me with the quality on some of this stuff. I'll try to get the best audio when I can, but sometimes we can't always pick up the best audio on these calls. Hopefully you take something away from this. Hopefully by listening to it, it gives you some sort of enjoyment or inspiration. And hopefully you can take something valuable away from it. At the end of the day, I just want to see all my friends succeed. And I want to see creative people excel, especially after 2020. I want to show you these people because they're people that I really believe in. Hopefully I'll be meeting new people and having conversations with more people that I've never met before. And eventually I want to branch out of my circle. I'm kind of learning as I go. I'm kind of figuring this out as I go. Obviously, my earlier ones are going to be rough, but I think over time it'll get better and better and better. and I hope that you stick with me, and I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you.